By the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how you can make your playing go from this to this. And by the end of this video, you will understand how to use scales to connect your chords, and you will never be improvising without them. When I first started learning piano, I hated doing scales. They were nothing but drills. But finally it clicked that they are there to help me understand the key and also to move between chords in my improvisation. So come over to the piano. I can't wait to show you how to do this. So today we mentioned that we are going to be playing in the key of F major. So let's look at what the key signature is for the key of F major. So for the key of F major, we are playing between an F and an F, and there are all white notes except for one, and that note is the B. So instead of playing the B, we're going to play the black note that's right to the left of it, which is this one, and this is called a B flat. So we'll skip over the B and play from F to F. Now, whenever we start improvisation, in a new key especially, we want to play the scale. It doesn't matter if you don't know the scale fingering. You can just use one finger just to get our ears used to the new scale and that we know which white notes and black notes to play. So here we are starting on the F. We're going to play all of the white notes up to the B flat, skip the B, and then continue on to F. Here's the B flat, skip the B, now that we know the key of F major, we are going to look at a couple of the different chords in F major. And I love these four chords because they are almost available in any order and they're going to sound great. So the first chord, and this is probably the most important because this is built on the first note of the scale, this is the F major chord. So to form the first chord, I'll just show you how to form the first one. We go up 3 notes, 1, 2, 3. That leads us to an A, and then 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's a C. So if you put all 3 of those together, that forms our first chord, which is our number 1 chord, F, A, C, or F major. So now we're going to go up to the second note of the scale, which is one of our next chords, and that is the G. So if we build a triad on top of that one, and remember this one has the B flat in it, so it's G, B flat, and D, that is a G minor. That is our number 2 chord. So far our choices are number 1 chord, F major, or number 2 chord, G minor. Now we're going to go up to our 6th chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a D. Now I'm going to go down to this one just so that we can see it a little bit better. But we build a triad on this one, and we have D, F, and A. That's another minor chord, and that is a D minor. It's our 6th chord. And our last chord that we're going to choose from today is our 5 chord, or our dominant chord. So from F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a C. I'll take this C. We build a triad, and that is a C major. So here are our 4 choices of chords today for our chord progression. We're going to have a 1 chord, or F major, 2 chord, G minor, 6 chord, D minor, or 5 chord, C major. Write this down and you can go through F, G minor, D minor, C, and then end on F every single time. But sometimes after a while that gets a little bit boring with just doing the same loop. So you can try doing them in different orders and see how they sound. And as long as you always land on the F major, our number 1 chord, it's going to sound like it's a complete loop. So try different patterns and see what you like best. Or let's try a different one and see how that sounds. That way it opens up a whole lot of creativity when you're putting your hands together. Now we're going to get our hands together right away, but first I want to look at the chords in our left hand. So instead of doing just a triad form, which is the stacked form that we just did in our right hand here, we're going to represent this by doing two things. You get two choices. Number one, you get to just make an octave. So instead of the F major triad, we would be doing just F to F. If you want one more finger to be down and it just makes it a little bit more full, you can put that fifth in the middle, which is the C, and you can arpeggiate it from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom, or you can hit all of them at the same time. So those are going to be your choices. So right now I'm going to hit all of them at the same time and show you the representative versions of the different chords. So here was our one chord, our F, and then we had our two chord, our G minor. So we have G and G with D in the middle. Then we have our sixth chord, which is our D minor. So it's D and D with A in the middle. And then we have our five chord, which is C and C with G in the middle. And the cool thing for all of these, the representative versions, including the octaves and the fifth in the middle, is that there are no black notes to worry about. So you do not have to think about black notes in your left hand. So now that you have your representative chords, we're going to put both hands together. And right now I'm just going to go 1, 2, 6, and 5. So I'm going to do F, G minor, D minor, and then C. So right now I'm doing the representative version of the chord in the left hand, and in my right hand I'm just going to do a triad, just so that I can get used to the feeling of what's happening in my right hand. All right, so we have our F chord, and then we have our G chord, our D minor, and then our C. And let's end on F so it sounds like a complete loop. So practice that a few times so that you know that your hands can work together at the same time. Once you have done block chords, let's try some arpeggios and see if we can get our hands together with arpeggios. So this time, I'm going to arpeggiate my left hand, and then I'm going to arpeggiate the right hand and do all the chords. And ending on F. Now this is a good time to talk about inversions. So inversions might be something that's really intimidating to you, but it doesn't have to be, because all it means is that you can take a chord like our F major chord and you can play it in any order that you want to. So you can play it like this so that it is stacked on top of one another. This is the triad form, or the root position. Then you can take the F off the bottom, and if you put that at the top, it still has an F, A, and C in it, but now it's oriented in a different way. So now we have A, C, and F on top. So that's our first inversion. Our second inversion would be then if we take the A off the bottom and place that at the top, and that is a new orientation. Again, we have F, A, and C, but it is now in the order of C, F, and A. And so listen to the difference of those different inversions. We have our root position, first inversion, and second inversion. And if you look at the pattern of how the inversions are, this is where they are equally spaced from one another. Our first inversion with the F on the top, we have a third on the bottom. And if we look at our second inversion, we have a third on the top. So that's how you can usually tell which inversion that you are wanting to play. So I would play all of the different inversions up and then coming back down in your right hand. Let's do the same thing for each of the chords. So let's look at our G minor. We have G, B flat, and D. So again, we can do our first inversion with G on the top, and our third is on the bottom here. And then if we put the third on the top, we have D, G, and B flat, and that's our second inversion. Same thing with our D minor. We have D, F, and A. First inversion, second inversion, and then coming back down. And then lastly, we have our C major chord. And then coming back down. So all of those are going to be choices that we're going to use when we do our chord progression. Now again, right now I'm going to do this same order where we're going F, G minor, D minor, C, just so that we can practice. But when we put this all together at the end, we can do this in any order that we want to. We're going to pick 2 inversions of each chord to play while we're playing our left hand. And I don't want you to always do root position and then first inversion every time. Let's try to be creative and see if we can move our hands around and just pick different inversions. This is a good exercise if you're struggling with moving your hands. A lot of times beginners like to keep their hands pretty close to one another, especially their right hand. They don't want venturing out too much because they're afraid they're going to get stuck and not able to come back. But this is a great way to be able to move your hands and find different inversions. So let's try this out. And we'll end on our F. So once you try that with 2 different inversions, if you feel like you are really having a hard time or you want to give it a try again, then try it again. Any part of these videos that you need to spend a little bit more time on, make sure you pause it and go over that section over and over again. So once you have inversions down, this is going to make it a lot easier to be able to play. So now this time, we're going to make our left hand do 1, 2, and then 3, 4 with our thumb. And then our right hand, we're going to add some different movement in our right hand. So this means that you can also use parts of the scale. By the way, this is the perfect chord progression if you want to tell an emotional story. Not a lot of teachers talk about how to put emotion into your playing, but if that's something that really intrigues you, this is the perfect video and I would love to show it to you right now. So click on the link in the description box and I'll show you exactly how to tell an emotional story with this very same chord progression. So do you remember how we learned the scale of F major at the beginning, where we were doing between F and F with the B flat? This time I'm going to show you the proper scale fingering for the key of F major. And the reason this is important is not just because it's something that your piano teacher likes to torture you with, but it's going to help you be able to move from one chord to the other with a lot more ease. This time, instead of using just one finger, we don't actually play like that. So now we're going to look at how we can use our 5 fingers to get up 8 notes. So the first thing that I love about the key of F major is the fact that your number 5 finger, your pinky, does not have a job in the scale. Now you'll use your pinky anytime that you are playing chords, of course, but if you're playing a scale, your number 5 finger will never hit the keys. The other thing to remember is that the B flat is always going to be hit with your number 4 finger or your ring finger. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to start on our 1 finger and travel up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our 5 is not allowed to play the C, so we're going to tuck under with our 1 finger to the C and reposition our fingers. And then we end on a 4 as well. Watch that one more time. And then when we come back down, we're going to do the same thing, never using our 5 finger. So we start on our 4 finger on F. And then we have to cross over with our 4 to get to the B flat. Reposition our hands. So what I want you to do is to try practicing this scale over and over again until it becomes second nature for you. So now that we understand this concept of how to do the proper scale fingering in F major, we're now going to look at how this matters with our different chords. So I told you at the beginning that these chords can be played in any order. So I'm just going to pick an order right now. We're going to go from an F chord to a C chord. So if we do that, it's really blocky sounding. If we're going from our stacked position of our F chord to our C chord, it's a lot for the ear. But now let's start in this blocked position of our F chord and let's do a scale down to our C. we have the forefinger conveniently hovering above the B flat when we are making this root position of our F chord. And so we're going from here to the C, but we're going to use a scale to help us get there. So let's do the part of the F scale starting on the B flat. Then we cross over, and then we are in position to do this chord. So practice going from F down to C and see how that feels. Now let's do it the opposite way. Let's do the C chord, and we're going to go from C to F. So now let's use our scale fingering to help us get up to the F chord. And then play it. So you can go both ways. Hear that? So that's how we connected the two chords. So let's say you have played your F in this inversion and you want to come down to a D minor, but you think that it would sound great to come down to here. Instead of going from here and then popping down to here, why don't we use a scale to get us from one place to another? So we can move from up here. See how I used part of that scale to move here? Didn't that sound better than just going from this inversion down to here? So try that with different chords. Now let's start with maybe the D. We're here on the D. We want to get to the G, and we're just going to go to here. We can either go from here from the D and arpeggiate it down and then hit the G minor, or let's use part of the scale this time. So we're here on the D, the second inversion. So all of those different choices are available to you. That's how we create passing tones. Now, passing tones are a difficult concept for a lot of people, but all that means is you're moving from one chord to another chord without having a break in your ear. So all of those were passing tones that led us from our G to our C here. In order to practice this, all I would do would be to play the scale several times and maybe start here. And then after you've practiced the scale a few times, try moving from one octave to another with different chord inversions. So let's try it again. Let's try a C. We're going to go all the way down from this root position C, and we're going to go down to the second inversion of this G, and let's see how we can do it. See that? So I was able to use just a couple of notes in here from the scale to get me from here to here. And so that's all passing tones are. This does take a little bit of work, but try it hands alone before you put it with hands together. It's finally time to put this all together. So this time I'm not going to play the same order that we have played the whole time, where we have done F, G minor, D minor, C, and F. I'm going to just move some chords around and see how we can make it a little bit better. And we're going to add some chord fills in there and some inversions, and let's see what our song can sound like. So what do you think? Are you more willing to practice your scales now? When I finally had a reason for my scales, I knew that I wanted to practice them so that I became better and better at them, something I didn't even have to think about anymore. So have fun practicing the F major scale. Let me know how it goes in the comments below. If there's anything you'd like me to dive just a little bit deeper into, I would love to be able to help you do that. Make sure that you share this video with somebody who also loves to make beautiful music or would like to learn how to play every single time you sit down at the piano. Until I see you in the next video, I hope you keep practicing.